Hello, Kazik, Carl and Hans. Actually, Hans is here, but Carl just left us to get Isaac and Axel. Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oops, looks like I need to turn up my speaker. Hang on. I heard somebody. Can you give me another sound check? Say hi. Isaac, was that you? Hello? Not
No.
promising so far. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Think I'll...
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I wonder if we can put it through the TV, make it a little louder.
It should automatically do that. Yeah. Just left click and then you probably know how to do it.
And that won't work. What'd you say?
You probably know how to do that stuff.
But the TV is not an option here. That's
Isn't
kinda
it
weird.
the end video one?
Well, I think that's the end video that's in my. Could be. Can you say something again? We're messing around with stuff.
Isaac.
Hello?
No, that's still. It's like this isn't even showing up as an option. As long as we're waiting for people, there's got to be a.
Just click.
Oh, this is a Roku stick, so it
Yeah.
doesn't have the TV options.
Oh, it's a Roku stick. Wait, no, that's a.
No, I mean, this is a Roku remote.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are there menu buttons over here? Never noticed we don't have a TV remote. Because the one at the other place, you could just, or at the other office, you could just say, I want to use that.
The volume's up on the TV. It's interesting.
Now it says I'm muted. Great. More volume settings. Oh, there's one place in here. Oh, is that? There it is. All sound devices. Realtek 3. I don't want to use steel. That's just confusing.
Hola.
Hello.
Holy, holy.
You weren't here.
Yeah, we didn't know.
You saw my car. My car is really hard to identify, I think. It's just this nondescript gunmetal gray box. But,
I forgot. You're coming to the mock party after. Did you not have a blue car? You take me to the.
I used to, the Honda Pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I traded it in because it was getting old. It was 2007. Although the miles weren't bad and it was running well. It had like 165,000. And, but I honestly had no idea what was going to happen with tariffs. And it's like, you're going to have to replace it sometime. So I did. Having trouble we'd like to hook up the audio to the TV and can't figure out how.
HDMI? Want it out of
We're in HDMI.
like in a high definition audio should probably.
Go your sound.
Yep.
Sorry. Go to your mixer.
To the mixer.
Yeah, little.
The button that that's your.
Oh, no.
Oh, you wanted the,
Yeah, the little.
this guy?
Lines, yeah.
And now select. Yep.
If I can figure
We
it out.
tried this.
Okay.
This Linux.
And then make sure it's actually turned up.
Together.
I'm gonna have you spot me.
So we,
You're gonna do a lot of talking.
Oops.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, so I'm just.
And-
They'll be.
We're gonna try.
And
We're gonna
constantly
try to show it. as much
Sure
as we
that this
can.
is turned
The
up.
problem is
Yep.
Ice Age
This is on.
is being a.
It's on the side.
And the ISO store
And it
is
is,
still
right? I
down.
can't see it.
think. And we can't really do much in your
Okay.
setting up emails.
But, so when we tried
Except
this last
we
time.
have set up, but I can't really set up a certificate server.
Oh, wait, these
Or
settings are
a-
different.
Domain
Oh, yep.
authority, which.
So you're gonna want to change the there as well.
Yeah.
Actually show like the actual domain function.
Team or Zoom or
But what
whatever.
I'm thinking what we can do is we can go
Hey,
to email and dump an actual email and look
Can,
at the signatures and be like, oh, hey, yo, this is how that works.
Isaac, can you
That's my plan.
give us a sound check again?
Check.
Oh, we can hear him.
All right, thank you.
Send the NVIDIA high def.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot that you have to set the sound settings in Zoom. or in this Zoom, in Teams, because it ignores the system settings.
Evil.
Yeah,
Windows. No. Teams.
Teams.
Windows.
It would do the same thing in Linux. So Linux.
Window.
Can you do Control Alt Windows Shift L for me?
Nope.
Control Alt Shift.
Well, you tell me what it does and I'll do it, but
No, legit, do it.
Do
No, it's not gonna
it's
cause
fine.
anything destructive.
okay, Control Alt Windows Shift L, like the.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Did you do it right?
I've got,
Start there.
Con-
I'm gonna blame the operator.
Control Alt.
Blame the-
yeah, Control Alt Shift Windows L. Let me get out of Teams and see if that does anything different. You're welcome.
Did
Weird.
they fix it?
Thanks
They
for
fixed
that.
it.
Do you have the Office key?
Yeah, we're done though, because we're starting late. So,
Yeah.
Open
Oh, he did it and it opened up LinkedIn. Okay, it is still in the Windows. It is still in the Windows.
yeah,
You must be.
I don't have the LinkedIn app.
It launched in a browser, dog.
Okay, so don't know. Which browser?
One of them.
One of them.
Was there.
Well, there are default key bindings for all the browsers and stuff. I just might not have that one. So, hi guys, I'm gonna try to get us started.
Oh,
We'll help you out.
black,
So-
British.
Isaac, you're gonna need to turn your mic on. I'm gonna turn mine off right now.
Not in
Today
yet.
is the
I'll
12th
this
to
guy.
13th December.
Well, actually, let me keep mine on. I'll do some housekeeping if I can think of any. We're gonna meet next week and then we got the 27th off for Christmas. That's my sister-in-law's birthday. I think that's a hard time to have a birthday 2 days after Christmas. Mine is on Christmas and it's awesome. Some people don't like it, but I'm pretty sure I've never had to work on my birthday. And when I was a kid, we had a pretty big, so my grandma had 9 kids. One died when he was 21. One of them was old enough that by the time I was around, they had their own clan. So they met on their own, right? So that leaves 7 aunts and uncles who could not avoid me on my birthday. So I got twice as much stuff, right?
Touche.
Yeah. And I really liked Uncle Harold. He'd walk around just handing out $20 bills, so I'd get 40. This was in like the 70s, right?
Mhm.
So
A lot of money back then.
$40. So yeah, when people say, "Oh, that must be awful," it's like you don't even know what you're
Mhm.
talking about. At least not in a family that size. Anyway, yeah, that's a divert. So here's some news. What's that?
You were talking calendar. I was gonna
Yeah.
mention that the following Saturday, we're at a ski trip, so
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
down.
Nice.
We'll do the video, but
Ah, nice GoPro.
I'm at the recording here.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I can ski with the phone.
Yeah. Did you know that I don't know if you guys saw this, but a video of somebody who went like snowmobiling or snowboarding or something. It couldn't have been snowboarding. And they had a chicken and they put the camera on the chicken's head because when chickens go like this, bobbing their head, what they're doing as they walk is they're keeping their eyes moving at a constant rate. So there's no jiggle in what they see. And so they put a chicken on front of this, whatever it was, snowmobile or whatever it was. And the video was perfectly smooth because the chicken would move its head to keep,
Oh.
Yeah.
really? That's cool.
to keep the video absolutely still. It was awesome. Moving, yeah, that's important for us to know. But here's something that I haven't told, I think I told Dan, but Nuvoco, or the vault rather, is moving again. So, yeah, and where they're moving is across the street, just across the street. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't been here when they've done their walkthroughs, or else I would show you where it is exactly. But what I'll do is when I find out where it is, when I find out when we have to go there, I'll kind of like shoot a little video and show you where it is. They've got the keys for it, so I can probably do that this week. I don't know if we have to go there on the 27th, or if we have to start there on the 3rd. I don't know that.
There's no 27th, but
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't know if we have to go there next week or if we have to go there on the 3rd. My bad, thanks. Also, just to throw a wrench in that, the pricing structure for me is changing, and they give me 8 hours of conference room time a month. So I reserved this room longer than that. So if I need to prep in the morning, I can just come here and do it and still be here. And if we run long, you know, I've got extra time at the end. And so I've asked them, it just says that you get 8 hours and 50% off additional hours. And then they don't tell you what the additional hours are. So I've had the people who manage the vault ask them, you know, can you be grandfathered in? Can we make this work? And if not, I have talked to people at the Armstrong building where we used to meet, but none of you were there. So Armstrong has they call it the Armstrong Hub, but it's a place where they just have offices and conference rooms. And so I talked to the guy in charge of that, and I've got a deal worked out with him that will work. So we won't be homeless, but the future is just not quite nailed down. Okay. So watch this space for developments. And I didn't want to tell you too early because, you know, I wanted you to feel like we had a home as long as possible. I didn't want, since well, you guys weren't here, but we were upstairs until, I can't remember. And then it was great upstairs. I loved it up there. But, and then we moved down here, Axel, Isaac, was it just this summer or something?
Yeah,
It wasn't very long ago.
I think it was this summer.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the housekeeping notes I've got. And I think that's all I've got. Oh, I do want to say that I got the videos caught up last night. I did do, if you remember, I didn't share my screen during the first, it turns out, about an hour of last week's meeting. So last night I played the video and listened to it in the background because there wasn't anything to watch. So I listened to it in the background, and as I was listening to it, I tried to do what I was talking about. And then I overlaid that video on top of the video free part of last week's meeting and stitched it together, and I posted that. So sorry I didn't get that out earlier, but you know, I'm a lazy sloth, right? I also that was interesting, and it was kind of, I sort of enjoyed it. It gave me some insight into what it's like to try to follow me. But so that was good. So that's out there, and I forgot to merge the class notes into our main branch, so I'm probably going to do that as soon as Isaac starts here. So
I'm working on it.
he's working on
Moving
it.
At the speed of
At the speed of tack.
oh, you
Tech.
wanted actual speed?
No.
At least. That's too bad.
What are you working at? Are you ready to go?
No,
Oh.
we forgot to prepare. We have things in the works. We have concepts of a plan, but
Great. So you're wondering if I can fake this right now to do some chart architecture stuff for email?
yeah,
The service I know the least about. So let's learn. Well, I mean, that's not
you've
fair.
done the fun stuff with like Telnet and whatever. We know what you're talking about.
I know I can set up postfix, and I had an idea. We can actually look at the signatures and open up the signatures that are used in an email.
Mhm. And we could
Because
do,
everyone I think has Gmail to some extent. We can dump an email.
right.
Look at this is all of the layers,
Uh-huh.
and then we have the VMs and ISIG. We can log in and be like, oh hey yo, check it out. We could set up postfix, and we have mail.
Yep. And so then we could
The
do,
problem is we don't have an authoritative DNS server.
but so I can give you DNS records.
That would be great.
you'd have to set up. You could use one of my, one of the zones I don't use.
Okay.
But then you're gonna want me to throw in these,
Do we have a box that can be exposed to that though? Because
Yeah.
Ice Age isn't exposed. It's all wire, it's all boxed in.
oh, you can't do DNS from Ice Age. Can you do it from a local
A
VM?
local VM, that's gonna take a hot minute. Cause that means
Yeah.
you need a whole private network and that's a pain in the tuchus.
Would,
Cause then we would still need port forwarding.
would a local DNS server in,
Well, that's what I was thinking to do, just set up Unbound. And as an authoritative mode.
yeah, that's inside Ice Age, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And Windows supports it natively. And if there's
Yeah.
there's a directory server, then just tack on authoritative DNS and you're good to
Did
go.
I create? I don't think I created a,
I don't. That's the big thing though, because if Ice Age doesn't
But-
have a Windows Active Directory server, then that is.
but I've got multiple Windows servers and you could
Oh, that'd be
promote one.
Yeah, that would do the trick.
Let me, take one of the numbered ones and promote the highest numbered one. That way I'll be able to remember which one it is. Sorry.
Those are free for the messing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I think the first thing we'll do while we're getting the domain server set up.
Can you, go ahead and, can you share your screen?
I'm almost there.
And we'll need you to take audio because usually this works, but it'd be a lot better if you
Yeah,
can take the mic.
I can pipe a microphone to here.
All right, let me, I'm gonna leave mine on to make sure we get feedback because that's how we know it's working.
Right, link.
Oh, I don't see you in the meeting though.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, you're getting there.
I'm looking for the meeting link
Okay.
here.
Go to CDC 2026 dot, you were gonna tell them. I didn't finish, go ahead. I gotta resist that urge to answer.
Get results somewhere.
That's not good.
It's not good.
Your site not available on cdc20.com.
Oh, just,
No, there it goes. Okay.
yeah, that isn't good.
His cert is valid. What problem you're getting? Yeah, his cert's clean.
Might be channel scale messing with my stuff.
Yeah, that tracks.
Think about my cert.
I won't be surprised when your cert goes out of date. And that's when, not if.
Well, GoDaddy actually supplies those automatically, so we'll wait.
Go away.
The redirect has me worried, but both of those domains are hosted at GoDaddy. We will wait, he says.
I'm my webcam.
Nobody lets, I let nobody. Let's see.
Isaac, do you wanna cast the TV so everybody can see what you're doing?
Oh,
He's gonna share on the meeting.
yeah, but
The
we'll give
training
him,
scale on the meeting. I can scale over them.
so do you want the HDMI after?
If you'd like, I can doesn't matter. I got right now, I'm running into issues with actually getting. The micro, I can plug in the microphone.
Well, let's see. I'm supposed to get up. Because if you, oh, I can't share that screen.
That is your screen, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Sorry. So, no, I was thinking wrong. If he takes HDMI, I can't share that. Never
Do
mind.
you have anything to share today? I think that.
No, I mean. I use cubes. So you can share that.
Sharing.
You can plug into
All right.
HDMI.
Audio. That's gonna be the one hiccup, because that's gonna be a pain.
Okay, so,
I don't want to spend too much time
All right, if you just speak up, this should work.
Yeah, have you met me? I'm just loud. That's just how I am.
Speak.
Alrighty, gang. So, what I wanted to look at here, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute so I can actually get an email here. Let's take,
Isaac, it's not connected to the PC.
is it not? No. I think you're crazy. You crazy, man. You crazy. Let me take a look here.
I'm gonna have to share it to the TV, right?
Yeah, you might actually need to do that, because this HDMI port might be dead.
Can you cast?
It's like you cast his Linux, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Cast don't work. No, we may just need to do that, Chris.
Cast.
I am a mess today.
Isaac, bunch we can cast.
Oh, I haven't seen.
We don't know about casting this TV though.
Let's go with this security alert email for the Google.
That is there.
Oh,
There we go. So here we are.
Just watch.
I should be sharing. Am I
I
not
don't see
sharing?
anything.
I see it.
Could be on mine.
Maybe it's because has the share button clicked or something. I don't know.
Hey, Isaac, are you able to see me?
Yep.
Okay. So is it, Chris, are you the one struggling here?
hang on. Maybe
I can reset the screen share.
this one.
Okay, cool.
There it goes.
Yeah.
It's a Firefox issue.
So, good old SMTP. So, just for laughs and giggles, let's start with a questionnaire. Who wants to take a stab at guessing what SMTP stands for? Let's start there.
Yeah.
You're a benevolent dick. I want to let Ben. I want the kiddies to squirm for a little bit before I call on the people who know.
Fill something out. Come on.
What do you think M might stand for?
Simple mail transfer protocol.
You look that up.
Oh, that was close. Did you say transfer?
Yeah.
That's a good
Simple mail transfer program. Yeah. Did you Google that, bud? Out of curiosity.
He coined it.
I knew the first half. I didn't know the second half.
So is that just a roundabout way of you saying that you Googled it?
Yeah.
I thought it was
I appreciate the honesty.
transport.
But yeah, not secure mail transfer protocol.
Oh, secure. What? This protocol is too old to be secure, man.
I thought it was transport, not transfer.
It's transfer.
Oh,
Bad, Chris. You didn't.
Good thing I'm a
Naughty,
dictator.
naughty. Anyway, so SMTP, the Simple Transit Protocol. If you guys want to follow along, you can open up your own Gmail or mail client, and you can follow along and look at. You could see what I'm seeing. It's not anything like this. Isn't. You're not going to see my mail, obviously, but
Oh, it didn't work.
you will be able to actually see what we're about to look at here, because we are going to look at the nitty-gritty of the SMTP protocol, in particular the security measures that were bolted on when they realized that sending data over the wire in plain text was a bad idea.
Is that what the standard trend, whatever stuff it says at the bottom? Like when you send an email, something about security at the bottom?
We will get to that.
Usually
But
just
yes.
a signature.
So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the first thing. We can look at, if we go into a mail and we click this little teensy little arrow. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that teensy little arrow by the sender there, if you click it, holy moly,
That's a lot of email.
holy moly, that's a lot of information. We can see the from, which is the mail address that it came from. We see who it was sent to, when it was sent. And then we'll skip this subject because that goes without saying. But now we're getting to the more interesting things. The mailed by, the signed by, and the security. So the mailed by, let's start there. Who wants to take a guess at what the mailed by could mean? I want to get but which server?
The one at Marion.
Well, I assume.
So more specifically, with the mail protocol, there is a difference between who issued the letter and who actually sent the letter. Like, what's up?
Yeah, so like, imagine, you write your name on a letter, but then you have your dad deliver it for you.
Exactly.
Or you send it, you drop it off at the post office and it has to be sent to the Kansas City post office and then to the Denver post office and finally to the LA post office who delivers it.
Yes. In our case, we could think of the LA as being, in my case, gaia.bounces.google.com.
They got funny names for that.
Yeah, they do got fun domain names. But in your case, Hans, yours is going to be coming from the same server that it was sent by or signed by. We will get into what the actual signatures are because we're going to actually we're going to do some digging on the DNS servers to see where that's all about. But the signed by is who actually issued the letter. That is who is actually sending that letter. In my case, it's accounts.google.com. What you guys might be seeing is something different.
So that's the origin of the letter.
As an example of this, I got a college propaganda email here from Bowdoin College. Their address they have is admissions@bowdoin.edu, but the mailed by is slate-mx.bowdoin.edu, and you'll usually see MX or something like that, stands for mail exchange.
And we'll explain because that's actually a DNS thing. We're going to get to that. But now we're getting into that security component that you brought up a little bit earlier, Hans. This is one of those security measures that they kind of bolted on later down the road. I don't really have a great representation to demonstrate it. Do you have? But SMTP by default is unencrypted. And who wants to take a stab at why that might be a bad idea? We've talked about it in the past, so this is mainly like a pop quiz. Why is transmitting information over the line unencrypted a bad idea?
Those people can steal it.
Bingo. They can listen in on your conversation. Well, what's another thing that could happen? There's one other thing. If you're not encrypting it, what other thing could happen if it's not encrypted? Kaizek, Kaizek, are you there still? Massive. I want to try to get you to answer. They can steal the information if it's unencrypted, but what else can they do? There's one other really big thing they can do if you're not protecting your communications with encryption or cryptography. It's okay if you don't know. Chris really wants to answer.
Not on the top of my head, no.
All right, Chris, be honest.
Send emails from the president.
Yeah.
Impersonation and weird TLS or the transport layer security is a little thing that they just kind of bolted on because it's the same security measure that they use on the web, and we can see that. We can go to the very website and we can go to the connection is secure and we can take a look. This information that we see here, this is the same for, I don't know if you can see it. Oh no, you can't see it on mine. I'll actually have to share it 1 second.
Oh, so you're not sharing your.
I'm just sharing the tab. I'm going to change that here. Un momento, por favor.
Yeah, watch what he's doing.
Done. Go over here. Okay, so if we go up to here and we can hop into the connection is secure and we can take a look at the certificate. The same technology that protects you on websites is the same technology that is used to encrypt mail transfers. The mail SMTP has the same technology bolted onto it. And you can even take a look at it now if you want. We could dig through all the certificate information.
Mine isn't telling that on your phone. It's just.
Sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be it.
Sure.
That's the yeah.
And it's almost like printing money, kids. Takes some infrastructure. It
Oh, yeah.
really does,
Yeah.
but once
Certificate management is a I think it might be beneficial to talk about certificate management down the road, because that is certification is the backbone of modern web security. But that's a conversation for a different day. But the long story short, the same technology that is protecting your communications on the web is the same thing protecting you on email. But there are other things, because just because we have TLS, like we see here, there's TLS, but it doesn't necessarily tell us who it was signed by. There's not a lot going on there. So we're gonna dump a little more information, and we are going to show original in our email. What? That's a lot of information. Holy guacamole. Yeah, so I could do it again.
Show original. It's gotta have the
You're gonna
little-
hit the three dots. If you're on Gmail, you go to more, and you'll go down to the very bottom, and you're gonna click Show Original.
The three dots.
Underneath this.
That's,
Microsoft. Anyway, so
can someone explain to me why they went with 80 or 60 columns or whatever this is? This is scaring me.
Oh,
They're wrapping it with an equal sign like every 60 columns or so.
make sure you get that.
well, they do that with certs, right?
No, it's the body of the email.
Oh, I didn't.
Sender policy.
Stuff. That's great.
Yeah, so now we're gonna start talking about old technology and the genius, and at the same time also the reason why I don't like mail, but I'm not gonna go down that tangent. But the big thing we're gonna look at is this top component up here is really what we're gonna be looking the most at, and then we'll dig more in the like the actual header components, because we'll actually go to a website and pull this information from our mail server. So here we see all the information we saw, but then we see these three things down here:
I try to go to Gmail.
SPF, DKIM, and DMARK. Oh, not K, that's a C. I know my alphabet. I passed kindergarten. DMARC, DKIM, and SPF.
I like to pronounce the first one spoof.
Spoof. Well, that is actually, I'm glad you brought that up, that joke up, Oxel, because SPF is our first shield of protecting us from impersonation. Now, just for laughs and giggles, without Google, who thinks that they can guess what SPF stands for? Benevolent dictators, you're welcome to make a guess too.
Super protective force field.
Close, but
That
not
was
quite.
my guess, yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Standard something something.
Sender policy framework. What? And this is where we can go to a pretty dope tool, the MX toolbox. You can navigate here too if you want. I use this thing like a crutch. This is my favorite online tool. It's just mxtoolbox.com.
Sorry.
I'll put it in the chat even. I love this tool. If you, I would highly recommend follow along with this. I'll put it in the chat for you. This is great because what we can do is we can look up the mail records. So let's see here. Where did our domain? So we have our from domain here, right? So what we can do is in our thing, we can copy that and we can bring that over to the MX lookup tool. We can paste it in here and we can do MX lookup. Oh, whoa. That's a lot of information.
Can you make that a little bigger?
Yes. Yes, I can.
You're amazing. Thank you.
I use Linux, by the way.
Which?
Yeah, I
Did
can,
you put
so,
it in there? We were trying to follow along.
yeah, no, that's totally fine. So I'll go ahead and if you take a look at my screen here, you're gonna grab the from,
Okay.
this is the actual mail server, and we're gonna yoink that domain and we're gonna bring it over to MX Tools. Yeah, so we can go ahead, this is a lot of information, but I'll try to kind of break it down a bit. So each one of these, DNS is one of those things that it has so many features, it's very hard to help me out here, Chris. DNS is just one of those things. It
It's
has round robin, it supports natively supports load balancing
It's,
and all these things.
it's a globally distributed hierarchical database
Mhm,
that is fault tolerant
mhm.
in extreme ways. Its original purpose was to replace host files, so it started with IP address resolution and stuff, but people realized that because it's secure, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
But there are things that secure it that you could use it to vouch for other items on the internet that had to be secured. It becomes an entry point. Usually there are things that just have to have a root for a security entry will show up in DNS, where you can look it up and say, okay, this is authoritative because the DNS has authoritative, what's the word? I can't think of it, but it's vouched for in an authoritative manner. Meaning there was a name server record in my database, and then we told our DNS team, stick it out in DNS. And once they do that, we were the only ones that could do it for that domain, and then they can put all these other records in it.
Just a reminder,
So-
DNS is the phone book.
Yeah.
That's the analogy,
I
and
know.
then you're going,
Yeah.
it's a super phone book that's trustworthy.
You want to see a zone that has
Yeah,
other records?
and that's why your DNS is so important to secure too, because if your DNS system gets hacked, I mean, you just exposed a ton of
That's game
downstream.
over.
Yeah,
That's,
Yep.
that's game over.
DNS poisoning and DNS hijacking are bad
Yeah,
things.
that's game over at that point.
And I can tell you ways to do it, but it typically involves social engineering,
Yeah.
That's
it's
the easiest
usually-
way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
which means fooling somebody.
Tricking somebody like Chris, right? Who has permissions and.
Yeah, well, here's a real world example of how this happens, because you won't get it from me. I've been trained internally, but is it okay, Isaac, if I take 2 minutes
Go
to talk
ahead,
about
yeah.
password stuffing?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start working on getting some dig commands so we can actually
Oh,
go
sweet.
catch those DNS records.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So
Take a look at some SPF.
So there's this thing called password stuffing, and the way we see this happen is that somebody will buy a bunch of passwords on the dark web. And this is why, by the way, the moral of the story is use different passwords on every site, okay? And what'll happen is they might be old passwords. They might not be any good at the sites that they're matched with. They don't care. They might just be passwords with no sites associated with them, just an email address and a password. They don't know they don't know if it was for Facebook. They don't care. And so what they do then, the password stuffing part of this, is that they go to a bunch of really common sites like, GitHub and TikTok and interwebs.com or whatever. They go to Gmail, they go to places like that. And if they get one of them to match, they will do what they can. The scary part is if they get your email, if they happen to get an email account, now they can go to any place else they think you might have an account. If they try to log in and if the site's no good and they say incorrect password instead of login failed, or if they just think by looking at your email, they can tell where you had accounts, they'll go to that site and they'll say, I need to reset my password. And now they've got your email address, so guess where the reset's going to, right? And so they'll grab your account. We've had this happen. They'll go to GoDaddy and they'll find that, you have this old domain you used to have, and they'll re-register it, or you've got domains that you do have, and they'll use the DNS. They'll just change the DNS to point at their malicious site, right? And so that's all because people reuse passwords on different sites. So when we tell people you should have different difficult passwords on all of your accounts. That's a big part of the reason why people will go just buy a bunch of your passwords or just buy a bunch of passwords and they'll just try them, stuff them into a lot of common accounts. And the gold mine is if they get an email account. That's one of them anyway. Obviously, if they get a credit card account or a bank account, that's good.
Okay.
But with an email account, they can just look at your emails, see where you have accounts and take them all. Right? So be careful out there, kids. This is why you need a password manager to generate hard, unique passwords for all of your accounts. End of soapbox. How was that, Isaac?
It was good. No, yeah, so we can start, if I'm gonna actually share mine, because I'm rifling through some web tools, because I have not messed with a mail server in a hot minute, so I'm a tad rusty, so bear with me here. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually get a better terminal before I share my terminal. Install. Try it. Yeah, so if you guys have WWeasel or access to a virtual machine with aptitude managing your packages, that's PowerShell, bud. Oh wait, you just done, okay, I'm sorry, I'm blind. I thought you typed apt into PowerShell. And I'm like, dog, I'm sorry, but Windows does not have that package, man.
Okay, so, oh, all right, okay.
All right, so I will go ahead and I will share my window of XFCE terminal. Can you see my terminal? Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
certainly can. All right, so let's dig some data. So first, we're gonna check if we have dig.
Dig.
Yes, dig is my favorite DNS command tool. If you do not have dig, you can do sudo apt install, or if you're gangster like I am, run 0, because we're the real ones who use systemd. But if you're a Linux pleb, you can use sudo and install bind 9 DNS utils. I already have it installed in this VM. Yeah, you didn't install. Yeah, you'll install the bind 9 DNS utilities, which is also alias to DNS utilities.
Can't find the package.
You did.
Because you did dig. Dig is provided by the DNS utils meta package.
I don't think I don't know the Arch package name.
DNS utils.
That's not me.
I'm pretty sure it's DNS tools then.
DNS tools.
Yeah.
There a dash?
Use fish to find it, baby.
Yeah, so
Fish
if
can
you
do
have
everything.
that, first thing the nice thing you can just really do with dig is that we can just query A records. So we can do google.com and hey, there's our A records. Oh, are you a cool kid and you want to search for IPv6? You can do that with the A star or A4 DNS records.
I like calling it quad A.
But we don't care about IPv4 and IPv6. We want to actually learn some more about mail servers. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to query the SPF or Sender Policy Framework policy of our domain.
Not MX?
We're not going to, well, actually, yeah, we can actually get MX. And that you can just simply just do it by MX. And now we're seeing the exact same stuff that we saw on our web page earlier. If I'm moving too fast,
A little
please stop me.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Why are they all out of order?
Because order doesn't matter. And they're round robining for you
Yeah, there's
also.
a round robin in it. Because they're also, it's gonna pipe to a load balancer.
Hey,
Yeah.
Isaac, do you think that it would be good to clean up? Do you think it's good for them to see the whole thing? Or do you want maybe to say plus no all plus answer so that they just get the answer?
Like that. Oh.
No, plus NO all.
Oh.
And then plus answer.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good call. That.
And then if they just hit up arrow and change, you can't put the MX at the end though, can you?
I think that's gonna throw an error because you put all
If you put
the
it-
flags at the beginning of
Yeah.
the command.
I think the
This-
order
this-
matters,
this
so,
is the way.
but still,
No, yeah, that's a good call, Chris. I'm used to that stuff, but you guys are new, so I'm not gonna make you suffer.
I just thought, thought it would
That's a
be an
good
easier
call.
way for them.
Yeah.
And this
so-
is what I do for scripting, right?
Yeah, no, because then you can actually.
Because otherwise you need awk, yeah.
Well, I use awk, and
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. So, first thing that I'd like to point out is that it ends in a dot. Oh, okay. Who wants? This is now we're going back a little ways. This is another pop quiz. I keep throwing pop quizzes at you guys. Who knows why it ends with that? Hey,
I
Mr.
definitely,
DNS
I
guy,
definitely don't count, yeah.
Mr. DNS guy. Come over. Isaac, I think you know. Don't use Google. Give it the old college try.
And it doesn't have to end with a dot if
It
that
doesn't.
helps.
No.
And an entry that wouldn't end with a dot, in case that helps, like an A record might say google.com dot, but www
Mhm.
wouldn't end with a dot.
I mess with too much DNS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the dot, if we remember back to our little conversation, is an implied, as that's really just an indication to go to the top level domain. Because we have com, that's a top level domain, or the highest domain record that you can have. And then you have your actual domain. The dot, the weird thing about DNS is it's Japanese and it reads from right to left, unlike us Americans. So I'll let you decide which one's actually weird. But long story short, that's the start of it. And so you have .com, .google, .accounts. The dot is implied.
When you buy a domain, you're picking the com or the org or the whatever.
Yeah.
Along with
The actual
domain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may go on a tangent, if you've ever used Android as your phone's operating system, they do the opposite thing where they start with com. So
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
YouTube is gonna be like com.google.youtube or something like that.
Oh, really? It's
And
for-
that's because they're wanting to group by like company name and stuff like that. But here it's because inside the zone, they want the unique parts on the left. This is how you use the names anyway. So if you look it up, you're gonna want to match it this way. So this is how they're gonna look up the names.
Yeah.
But the dot means it's an absolute name. And if it doesn't have a dot, like www means it's a relative name and it should be matched to it should have the zone name that this is for. So right now we're in the zone for google.com. So go ahead and dig the A record for www. Oh, they
Yeah, it's www is just gonna redirect to Google.
no, I mean, oh, right, because we're not looking at the zone. In the zone, in the file, the actual zone file, it'll have www without a dot.
Mhm.
And that will mean inside this zone file for google.com, this is just part of the zone. And it's a relative reference, so you need to append .google.com . And
Yep.
and if you're talking to DNS guys, you frequently will say, unless you have a special name for dot like you do for dash, you'll say, you know, I'm looking at the record for www.google.com . You know, just to be clear. Although if it's .com at the end, you don't have to. But if you're telling people that, and some people will actually on some of the utilities might type the com. I don't know if you can do it with dig.
Well, what are you looking for?
Like, will it still work if you put the dot on the end of this command?
Should.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
So
reason.
some
It's
people will
gonna
do
follow
that
the
because
same.
they if they're DNS people, they feel like if they leave the dot off, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're being technical, it's
Yeah.
just
Dig
the
knows.
web has evolved to where you don't. It's smart enough to do that.
The amount of times we've had to rename a subdomain to the domain above it and just had to write out, you know, the whole domain and the dot.
Mhm.
It's
You can actually look up for
frustrating.
name if we just put in game. But there is no C for this one.
only death.
Only nothing. But
And if you look for A records, or the default anyway, if you don't say anything like CNAME, is it'll show you the A records. Well, it'll show you the CNAME, and if there's a CNAME, it'll show you the A records too, because they don't want you coming back twice. So they'll give you the CNAME, which is another name. It's a canonical name, which canonical is a weird name for ordinary, but it'll give, or standardized. It'll give you the name, and if they didn't give you more information, you'd have to come back and resolve the name. And so to save you the round trip and to save them the extra work, they'll resolve the name for you and give you the A record for it, so that you still have the IP, even though it's a CNAME, if that makes sense.
If I remember correctly, though, that only works if you don't specifically request a CNAME.
That could be, yeah.
Did we go over all of these, the A records, the CNAME, what we're talking about?
I don't think so.
We haven't gone in depth in like the vastness of available DNS records.
I've gone a little bit just setting up a GoDaddy site, and that's it. So we might be losing.
Yeah, Google.
No, that we can, I don't want to spend too much time in like the actual nitty gritty of DNS.
Okay.
The main goal is really just to talk about the security behind mail servers and what all goes around with mail servers. That's kind of just the unfortunate reality is that DNS is so deeply intertwined, as we'll see here in a minute, of how it's just so deeply entwined. The security of DNS is what makes mail secure nowadays. It's just what it is nowadays. So we'll fill you in as we go, but we'll go ahead and let's query a text record. Did that give me something? It sure did not. What is that? So a text record is just data. That's kind of how you bolt data on to it. If I do mail.google, that should actually give me like an actual SPF record. I'm trying to get there we go. Google site verification. What am I doing wrong here?
I think the SPF goes on to the mail server.
You know what? You might be onto something here.
Also, I'm wondering, did I ever set up SPF for my domain here?
Probably not. That's something you usually forget. But okay. Help me out here, Chris. What am I for digging
SPF.
the SPF? Because that's under the T, that's a TXT record.
Yep.
I do like count. Is it accounts or accounts? Ah, here we go. I was just spelling the domain wrong. I did it right initially. So we see here, if I go back into the plus, no all plus answer, we get it nice and formatted here, which you can go ahead and do. I'll clear my pencil here so you can better see what you're supposed to see. And we get a redirection, which means that that's where we're supposed to go look for it. So we can do that manually. We can resolve manually because we're cool kids. Aha! Look at that. It's beautiful. So once you get that initial query, you can go ahead and go and follow that redirect. We'll manually resolve the redirects for SPF. And this is our first line of defense for impersonation, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Sender Policy Framework version 1.
And how does it protect us?
So the Sender Policy Framework, we can kind of see it here. It's telling us who is allowed to send mail from this domain. And that's what these include statements. You got netblocks.google.com and netblocks2.google.com, which is their domain. That is their domain that contains their entire net block. It's all of their IP addresses that they manage.
So this text record is just giving you the information on who's allowed to send.
Exactly. In which case, in the mail server, we'll do a reverse DNS lookup on the IP address of the sender. And it'll be like, are you in this domain block? If you are, then SPF passes. But if it fails, then that means that that mail server is not allowed to send mail, and it gets automatic. A lot of times, most mail clients will immediately send it to spam because they're impersonating.
Okay, so an email comes in and it's from the spf.google.com or
This is the
account.google.com.
record, yeah, the NetBlocks, yeah.
And then it goes and looks up the text record and does, it says, here's the IP of it coming in.
Mhm.
Go look it up and make sure it is one of these two.
Yes,
Okay,
and if it isn't, then it gets rejected.
nice.
And then because it's a fail on SPF, and it just it takes care of it from there. So that's our first line of defense. And if we go back to our little message here, if you scroll up, I'm just scrolling the wrong way. It passed. So they are not impersonating anybody. So we'll go down to the next check, which is DKIM. I'm not going to ask you what this one is because I don't even know what it is. Domain keys identified mail. I was close.
I knew it was something with keys.
I thought it was Alicia Keys, but go ahead.
So DKIM, domain keys identified mail. This one's a little weirder for looking up. Yes, it's okay. We can query it very similarly to how we did it here. I'm pretty sure we can just do DMARC. Oh, that's DMARC. We're going to get to that in a bit. Bear with me here. Google.domain key.
It's not good. IP address that they keep up. That's what we were just talking about. I want to look it up and is it in those records? If it does this work.
I'll check what you were looking at there.
We might need to go back to NX Toolbox, gang. Yep, we're going back to NX Toolbox. So here we have accounts.google.com. What would the selector be? We might be able to find it here. DKIM pass.
Here's the key.
What are the odds it just works? This is weird because it can show one domain selector. There we go. So there's no DKIM on here, which I'm not surprised by. Of course, Google hides their keys. That would make sense. You got any ideas, Chris, on how to pull down the key?
I don't, but I just looked up how to find the selector in the header, but you said there isn't one, right?
I can't. Where would I find it?
It's here. You can't make this font bigger, can you? So there's a DKIM signature,
Oh yeah, I was looking at that.
and then there's an S equals attribute.
DKIM.
You can,
S is that so the S is just it.
yeah,
that-
S equals selector, and then in this case, selector is, yeah, it says that
It's
the
just
S attribute is the selector.
Oh, so they have a bunch of numbers because that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we go back to MX Toolbox. Because MX Toolbox is my favorite mail toolbox. And we can go, where was DKIM? Here it is, dkim.xfix. So accounts.google.com and our selector, DKIM lookup. Ah, look at that. It's a key. So this particular key according to RFC specification, is going to be an RSA 2048 public key. Which means it's a 248-bit RSA encryption. We can verify it ourselves with OpenSSL if we wanted to, but that's a bit out of the scope of what we're talking about today. So if we have time, we may come back to this, but if you want to go ahead and do that to your mail server, we can go back to our message that we were looking at. We're gonna have to rifle through our text
Or search.
or search, and you can just do find s equals. We'll ignore all the arc, but we're going to go straight to the DKIM signature here that I have. And we see right here, S equals, and that's our selector. So that's how we'll go back to it. We'll take that, we'll bring that back to our next toolbox, and you can just stick that as your selector right there.
Right
And you can
there.
look up.
And DKIM is for validating the sender?
So DKIM is another spoofing protection utility. This, in particular, is for protecting this part right here. Now you may be wondering, wait a minute, Isaac, hold up a second here. I thought we've already verified that. Well, TLS is only protecting this part. That's the only thing TLS gives a crap about. This part here, it doesn't give a crap about. Which means if I have the ability to send mail from accounts.google.com, I can impersonate anybody from that mail server. It doesn't matter who. Which is where DMARC comes in. Not DMARC, DKIM. We'll get into DMARC in a minute. But DKIM protects them. It allows multiple people to use a single mail server and allows them to be signed.
So SPF is to protect the domain, and DKIM is to protect the
The sender server.
name or whatever, yeah.
The sender.
It's basically
And-
signing.
Hmm?
Oh, it's basically signing the email at the sender level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's different, like, and then I'll cover ARC in a minute, because ARC is why I hate email. But that's we're gonna get into that. That's a problem for future us. We still have one more step. This is the Deus Ex Machina. This is what gives the previous two teeth. DMARC, which this is also another one that I gotta look up. Not DMAC. DMARC is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. It's a very big mouthful. DMARC is the thing that gives them teeth, and we can actually query that here. So if we go back to our command line, I have a command here. This command, if we run it, we get our DMARC policy. Make that bigger too, if you can.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I got you. We run that. We now have our DMARC records. DMARC is kind of like if we have if SPF is kind of the box and DKIM is the tape to hold the box together. DMARC is basically just the mail guy to make sure that is basically the FedEx guy who gets the signature. DMARC makes sure that the mail server that's receiving the letter does what he's supposed to do. And in this case, we can see that this text record is for DMARC version 1, and his policy is to reject. This means that the receiver of the letter, if anything fails, if SPF is a failure, if DKIM is a failure, according to the domain's DMARC policy, they should reject it, which means the mail won't even come into the mail server. There are 3 possible settings this can be in. Do nothing, ignore, which I think is relaxed. The second policy is quarantine, and then reject, which is what we see here. unless you have a really, really good reason, it should always be reject. Always should be reject. It should all, if you, a properly set up mail server should never need to quarantine or accept unsigned mail. There should never be a circumstance where you should be accepting unsigned mail. And then this final step here is the RUA, which is basically when if a DMARC failure does occur, where do we report? And this is basically telling the receiving mail server, I want you to mail it to this mail, which is kind of just an Ouroboros of mail. We have mail reporting to mail. It's very funny. But yes, so that's mail security. We have one more thing though, and this is where I might crash out. I can't promise that. I may crash out on this one. But now we have the wonderful world of mail jumping and mail hopping, which is a security nightmare. And this is the reason why I don't recommend sending important stuff over the mail, like online, unless you have a really good reason to. So, when you send mail, who wants to take a guess on where that letter goes? Who wants to take a guess?
The government.
Well, after it goes through the NSA, then what
After
happens?
the NSA copies.
I think you-
Yeah, email. When you send an email, where does it go?
To the receiving mail server?
You would think that. You would genuinely want to think that. And
Well,
I would want to think
From
that.
place to put, like the different post offices, right?
well,
There's a-
it follows routes.
It follows the routes, which is okay, sure. We have a slight problem. At no point is the contents of the email actually encrypted.
Well, the contents can be, but not the subject line and not the receiver and not the sender.
There is an obscene amount of information in an email that is not encrypted in transit. Which means
But
when
then
I send,
coded.
like, let's say,
Yeah.
for example, I send Hans an email. And so the first thing that's going to do is it's going to go to a bounce server. And it's going to bounce to another server. And it's going to continue on the pipeline. Your letter is going to be seen by at least 4 other servers in plain text
The content of the letter?
because it's only ever signed.
Usually.
It's only ever signed. We can, and because, I mean, it's not encrypted. That's what the DKIM signature is, just to ensure the integrity of the letter.
That's why, like if you send from Gmail to Gmail, they'll put a little key next to it saying this has been encrypted. But the reason they could do it was it has stayed inside their ecosystem. That's why, otherwise there wouldn't be any key because it would always be encrypted, right?
And now you see why I greatly dislike email. That is the one thing they didn't do, that they didn't change. They bolted on all these other things when you could just do a single scheme where you encrypt the contents of the email and you just send it over the line. That takes care of verification, and that ensures mail integrity, that does everything for you just by encrypting the contents. But the problem is that SMTP was built in a day when encryption wasn't the standard. Things were just sent over the air in plain text because it just wasn't deemed necessary at the time. But nowadays, I mean, we all know that you need to encrypt. It's necessary. You can't leave things in plain text.
So if somebody was at that server, they could read your email the whole time.
Gmail, I mean, they've been caught red-handed reading emails and sending ads as a result. Your inbox is being seen and sold if you don't control it. If that's not your inbox, and even if it is your inbox, if you're not encrypting with a PGP or AES, like if you're not encrypting the contents, it will be seen. OpenPGP has done a lot of work in making and fixing that, but that's the Achilles heel of email.
And open, and that's hard to use because you have to set that up
Yep.
with the single other person you're sending the email to.
Yep.
So you have to set it up with every single person you're going to send it to. And grandma doesn't want to do it. Your lawyer doesn't want to do it. Well, maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's going to depend. Like the guy who helped us with our house was our last sale was, probably 62. And, good luck unless he's got a service doing it for him.
The beautiful thing nowadays is OpenPGP does have a public key server that you can upload a key to. You can associate an email and associate a key to it, and it will allow a mail client to automatically fetch that key and decrypt it for you. They've done a lot of work in that regard to make encryption easier for mail, but it is not foolproof and it's not easy. It made it easier, still not easy. Okay, crash out over.
Yeah.
That's email. It's complex because DNS is complex. Otherwise, email is otherwise a fairly rudimentary protocol. Do we have questions though? Let's start there.
So we didn't really, I mean, you were talking about setting up an email server, and that's probably what's coming, after this
Yeah.
intro.
Are we gonna set up a computer as an email server?
So what I would like to do, if my week was incredibly busy this week and I couldn't get to it, but what I'd like to do is set up a private little network with our own authoritative DNS, and we set up our own mail network where we implement everything we just talked about. We went through all of this, now let's go do it.
So,
Anyway, whether I wanna try to see if we can do it in Ice Age, and if that doesn't work, I'll set up one of my laptops and I'll bring it next week. And I'll have VM root file systems with Debian on them, and you'll log into them with, I probably just set you up with a secure shell.
If you don't wanna use your laptop, I've got a bunch of.
We're gonna
old
use my
laptops.
laptop. It's not that that would be, it's that I wanna be able to have a snapshot, so if you screw something up, we have somewhere to roll back to. It's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust you.
No, I understand.
So, because then we'll be able to set up our own we'll set up OpenDMARC. There's a very nice stack, just Docker mail, that implements all of that for you. DKIM, DMARC, with the automatic sign-in with postfix, and then Dovecot as a mail client. So you can log in to your own mail server, we can send each other letters, and we can watch it go down and see, like, this isn't as secure as one would have hoped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, SMS and MMS is just the same way as mail. It's just as bad.
So ultimately, when you were, Chris was talking about like the realtor, needing signatures for that kind of transaction, or like my tax guy, when he sends me something, he sends me a link to a website, more or less.
Yeah.
And the website, you can secure all of that. Traffic is just the link to it, and he says, use your something that to plug in to log into it, more or less, because you don't want to send that over the email, though. Somebody can just do that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
Google
fine.
is fairly. I mean, I don't trust Google, but that's because That's just how I am. I don't like how monolithic Google has become.
What about Firefox?
Ever since they changed their policy, I've gotten a little iffy about Firefox. Mozilla's still okay, but I don't know. When I see Proton, I somewhat trust because they actually charge for their services, and that makes me feel a little better that they're not selling it to advertisers. They're just selling the data because they have to make money somehow. But my biggest beef with Google is they are incredibly large, very monolithic. They are very good at redundancy, and that's great. Google's fine. But they control such a large segment of the internet that when they screw up one little thing, it's such a homogeneous system that it's out and the internet is down for 6 hours. Because that's happened with Cloudflare and Google very recently. With the Google Cloud
Amazon.
Services, they screwed up DNS, it was out. Amazon screwed up DNS, out for 6
That's
hours.
the outage.
Cloudflare, that they screwed up with Rust. That was even funnier than just DNS. But they screwed up. entire website's inaccessible for hours.
Yeah, and Amazon's recent long outage was like a single DNS update or some
It was a
database
zone- It
update.
was a reverse zone issue.
Yeah, but it was just this one thing, and it just cascaded in a ridiculous manner. And but the weird thing is that it was in US East, so we just what's wrong with company? We just moved all our stuff to US West. And it's like, okay. And
Yeah.
everybody else is like, oh, I always wonder, Netflix is like, why can't you route, videos from, you're all over the world, right? Why, I mean, I know it's a lot of load, and a friend of mine used to do their internal, Hadoop stuff, what I've forgotten the, big data stuff. And she showed me their dashboards, very cool. But, it's a ton of data going. Maybe they just can't afford the hit, but why don't they design enough redundancy, other companies, into, you don't have to have 100% extra capacity, but at least the ability to do something. These sites all go dark because it's not even a region necessarily. It probably was with this, but, it's like you're on the cloud, so you can say, oh, we're going to be up all the time. And then one region goes down and the whole thing goes down.
Especially in the age now where you have elastic servers with Amazon, you have serverless functions, you have distributed data buckets that you can have global.
Yeah.
And then the DNS, wonderful thing that it is, allows you to basically distribute it automatically. If one fails, it'll just go down to the next list.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes me wonder, maybe they have their customers tied to a region or something like that.
I think in the case with Netflix, though, Netflix streaming services in particular are weird because they have to comply with geo restrictions.
Yeah, but
So
US
that
East and US West, that's the same geo. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And
These are weird.
my friend told me also that they cache the most commonly watched stuff like at the ISP.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That tracks.
They have boxes in the ISP.
Yeah.
Not just Netflix.
But so, I mean, they try obviously, but so sorry, that's definitely a side. But yeah, when these, I don't remember was it Google Cloud that went down?
I think it was Google Cloud.
Oh, so
There was a half minute ago, but Google Cloud went down, and it brought down a pretty sizable portion of the internet with it.
Yeah.
I think Superfund, this was a hot minute ago, but Superfund was running on Google. And an outage happened where the pensions for a lot of people suddenly were not accessible. And yeah, that was not pretty.
Yeah.
I'm sure, as you can probably imagine. But yeah, so that it's like the same thing with Windows. It's not that I greatly dislike Windows. Like Windows is very, very cool. There's a lot of really cool functionality in Windows.
Like how it has built-in ads.
Other than the fact that it's basically malware, there's a lot. But in all seriousness, though, Windows Server is a very, very cool product. It can do some really cool things on a data center level. But when you have such a homogeneous system, all it takes is one company. I mean, I won't actually name them, so I'll just give just a fake name. We'll say like CrowdStrike, for example. They screw up a driver. Takes down the entire freaking internet.
Microkernel nonsense.
Didn't take us down.
I mean, I don't
really,
want to point fingers or anything,
but some of it is operational rigor and operational discipline, right?
yeah,
Nobody should have let them just download those things to their servers, and
no,
that's the problem, right? Can you imagine? So Linux fleets. So forget about the small offices and stuff, but a lot of these were big companies, and these fleets should be controlled by like orchestration software that you tell what to do and when to do it, and it goes and applies the patches or whatever to your whole group of servers, called orchestration software. So Puppet is an example of this kind of software. We use Puppet, and we wait. Right? We don't apply on Patch Tuesday for Microsoft, right? We wait to see if the internet screams, and we put it on our test servers first. And then eventually we tell Puppet, okay, put this on the prod servers, put it on the standby servers first, right? Take things out of production, patch it there, and now leave the other ones in the production servers and rotate these guys in, see how they do. If something bad happens, take them back out, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to have some kind of plan for getting bad software.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that's the thing so I'm right back to that thing is when US East goes down, why does your whole company go down?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
you have to plan for these things. That was Google's whole
Yeah.
revelation was everything you do will go down. And so instead of building huge things, let's have stuff that runs on a lot of little things and let's plan on them all breaking. Right? That was one of their first design principles. And that's why like Google search stays up all the time. Right. And it does. I mean, I've had times where you have to hit F5, but people expect that. And so psychologically, it's still up. You say, oh, it must have been a network thing. Well, it might have been their servers. You just can't tell.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they did that right. And they taught the whole world. I think the phrase was, we need to, I don't know if it was Google that said this, you guys might, that we need to stop treating our servers as pets and treat them like cattle. Right?
That's funny.
So you're not going to name your servers like at Tech Data, we used to have naming conventions, like we'd call the database servers were named after astronomical things, Castor, Pollux, Gemini, Taurus, right? And there were some servers that were named after large bodies of water. So Pacific, Atlantic, Indian,
So politically correct.
and but it caused problems because like the Exchange servers are named after high performance sports cars, but they ran out. There's only so many they could think of, and so eventually we had things like what was the ubiquitous minivan in the 90s? There was the Dodge Caravan. We had a high performance, and then sometimes the naming conventions would overlap. Like Indian was a problem because it could have been a large body of water or a group of people. And so this guy is like, stop doing that. Give them names like, I think one of my server names right now is P3 PW DOMA SQL 03N1. Right?
Yeah.
And that it means something to us. But some of our other servers in the cloud, they have names that there's a little prefix on it, tells us what app it's for. And after that, something that came from the build and we don't know what it means. It doesn't mean anything, right? And we throw it away, we build a new one. You don't patch the one that's in place anymore. You build a new image that has the patches on it, and your patching is you take a live one out and you put this one in. And if it goes bad, you take that one out, you bring the other one back. So
There you go.
yeah, that's cattle. You slaughter this one. And you bring
It definitely, the whole pipeline goes both ways.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm
Anyway.
probably coming off on pointing fingers at like
No,
big companies.
But
I
I mean,
kinda
we goof up.
but- Yeah.
We had an outage earlier this year
Mhm.
that I was looking at our, what do we call them, incidents and DNA zone here. What's it called?
IDTDNA?
No, the non-disclosure, NDA zone here, non-disclosure. But we had one outage that I was like, wow, that one lasted a long time. It wasn't, I don't remember this one. And so I clicked over to, we estimate, we try to make an estimate, not just based on time, of how much income it cost us.
Gotcha.
And this one was a 7-figure number.
Oh,
It was like $1.2 million or something. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm glad that wasn't me.
those are getting fired numbers.
Yeah, I don't think that guy got fired. Well, I don't know who it was.
He probably had a bit of a conversation with his superiors at best.
We had one guy that I hope did get fired as the worst outage we've had in my time there was, I don't know, a decade, a little more ago,
Mhm.
where we took a lot of customer sites down for 8-10 hours, like our hosted sites.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what happened well, no, I'll tell the story forward. So there was some point in time when we started getting all these alerts because there were DNS problems, hosted sites were falling over. Before too long, some guy with anonymous in his Twitter name came online, claimed responsibility for it. He was bogus. Anonymous was even like, we don't know who this guy is, but he was lying. He was just trying to get attention for himself. What had actually happened, and one of our guys in domains right away said, well, there's this network deployment, that's in our deployment tracking system that happened right about the same time. So they got this guy on the line. He's like, no, this was just, we did this. That couldn't have caused it. We're like, it was a network deployment right before we started having these problems.
For expensive noise, it started happening.
Yeah, and he stuck to his guns all day. And I don't know why the operations center didn't tell him, we don't care, roll it back. So I kind of blame them too.
Yeah.
But that was around noon. Around 8 p.m., somebody finally told him, we don't care, roll it back. And
Oh my God.
everything started to restore. It took a long time for some of those sites to come back online because, DNS.
Yeah.
And what had happened was he tell me how this couldn't be the problem. He had taken what do you call it, route table, routing table, and he had updated it and pushed it out to its neighbors, whatever. I don't know the terms. The router he started on was a model that was bigger, had more memory or whatever than the ones around it. And so he had pushed out entries. They couldn't receive the whole table, right?
So only partial.
He farted with the routing table.
Yeah. So he's the only guy that I hope he should have gotten fired for that.
That's an amateur mistake. Oh my word.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the routing table. You don't mess with it. Leave that alone unless you have a really good reason to.
Yeah. And now I've recorded that. That one, our CEO actually posted a vlog and explained exactly what happened. But it was interesting that the whole time people trying to assess whether this guy who said he was part of Anonymous actually did this and whether we were being actually honest about our explanation. There were sane voices in the room saying, this sounds feasible. What he said, this sounds like this could have happened.
Sky?
Yeah. No, our CEO's explanation, because he laid it out. He said, this is what happened.
Do you have access to that blog post?
Oof.
If not, that's fine. But if you got your hands on it, it'd be cool if you could send that in the group chat.
That was Blake Irving.
Did you apply a Microsoft update?
Microsoft.
You gotta let it cry for a little bit.
Wow.
Okay, so did you update to 25H2?
You can see, I don't know.
Probably. Well, it looks like your keyboard's fine. I've been dealing, so many people will be coming in. I think they patched it, thankfully. It's about a dang time. But on 25H2, I think it was 25H2.
Yeah, you got it.
They screwed up the keyboard drivers, the driver loading pipeline, where keyboard drivers were getting loaded. So we'll have customers coming in and be like, keyboard no work. And then I'll just be like, did you restart the machine? And they're like, no. So I restarted the machine and it just works like that. And then they're like, what did you do? And I'm like, I restarted it. Windows did a goof and they sent out a bad system. And then I have to go through the whole pipeline and just be like, if it doesn't work, just restart the computer. And 9 times out of 10, it fixes everything.
So you have a lot of in-depth knowledge, both you guys. I'm just curious, what in the past, I have a fresh 13-year-old and I'm trying to move them into more and more. Obviously a group like this, but even before you joined cyber defense, what got you to that point? Or how old were you when you guys started? It's a high school thing, right? So
When did we meet?
originally, us two,
Yeah,
late
Was that,
middle
like,
school.
late middle school. That's when I started.
Okay,
Yeah, he got me into it. We met. Our parents met. I want to say on through
Bunko.
Birds, Bunko.
Or birds, one of the two.
Yeah, that's how the connection was made. And then my mother came home one night. It's like, yo, you should talk to this dude named Oxel. Weird name, just roll with it. But he can program. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope. At the time, I didn't really know how to program. I just had some experience with Minecraft modding. That's the extent of my capabilities at the time. That I wasn't familiar with the command line. Like, I was comfortable with text-based environments, but I wasn't like, I'm not the command line wizard I am today. But so I meet with him. He shows me Bash script, the Windows command processing language, and I'm like, okay, that's disgusting. I'm gonna go learn Python. I read the entire book cover to cover on Python, and I just started programming text applications. And then I discovered Linux.
Hmm.
And the rest is history.
so it's really self-driven. It wasn't necessarily like I took this, online course that really did it for me. Like, you read the Python
Yeah.
book.
So when it comes with computing, it depends pretty heavily on it. Initially, if you want to get into computing, start with just modifying existing code. I got started with modifying Minecraft, making Minecraft mods. Start with something that gets the dopamine going.
Oh, creating Minecraft?
Yeah, creating Minecraft mods. Write Minecraft mods. Start with block scripting. As much as I dunk on block scripting nowadays, that's mainly because I've graduated. I'm a big kid now, and I can program in Python. I'm a big boy now. Let's start with block
Is that
programming.
block? Okay, that's.
With the block.
Yeah.
Start with-
Scratch or whatever.
If you don't know how to program now, start with block programming. You will learn control flow very quickly.
Is that Python?
Python is not block Scripting.
But like what
Scratch.
code does it use?
Scratch.
What does code does Scratch use? What
Yeah,
language?
under the hood it's JavaScript.
Really?
And then if you want it to run fast, you can use Turbo Warp, which I think uses a separate one. But big technical terms aside, start with block scripting, learn control flow. You got to know how to think like a programmer to expedite learning how to program. Once you can I can make the ball do cool things, and okay, this is making sense. If statements are understandable, I understand Boolean logic like that. These terms aren't unfamiliar to me. Go and learn Python.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Don't do JavaScript. Don't do that to yourself. JavaScript is a very bad representation of the function of programming. It is way too loosey-goosey. You're going to spend way too much time learning how to make JavaScript work for you than actually learning how to use JavaScript.
So we're watching a video and then making the programs before it uses the answers in Python. PyCharm is reading the video and giving it so you can tab and it'll write it.
It seems like, it's either predicting.
It
like,
was probably trained on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So
These tasks are very.
Yeah, because if
Generic.
you try to do the leak code, a lot of times you start you take they give you a starter stub
yeah,
or something, you pop it in, they tell you what the function name should be or something, and you start typing it, and all of a sudden the whole block
Yes.
of the answer pops up, and you're like, that's no fun. So you gotta shut AI off so you can actually code the thing.
It's been wrong, it's not gotten it right, and that's good too, no, that's not right,
Yeah,
That's
because
not what I wanted.
that's not how you want to learn to code, but it is indicative. Like at GoDaddy, the people are best programmers and the people who have most adapted to AI. Some of them say they haven't used an IDE, they haven't used something like PyCharm for months. And what they do is they go and they give specs to Claude Code or to the Cursor, which is an IDE. And then what they do is do code review and tell it like they treat it like a junior programmer.
Yeah.
gotcha. So they're basically
They do code review and tell it what it got wrong. And then they let it iterate again. And
It's kind of nice.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm personally against that. One of the reasons I do programming is, I like solving the problems and all that. And, if this AI is solving the problems for me, then I don't like that.
Well, you've got to get the specification. You have to
Yeah.
kind of solve the problem still. But sometimes there's but yeah, it's a real switch. I didn't like the idea at first. But sometimes you can ask it, hey, I don't know how to do this, and it'll come up with it, and you still kind of get to learn, but it isn't really the same brain burn, the brain buzz that you get. So I mean, I know what you mean. But at home on my own projects, I'll give myself 5-10 minutes. And if I can't figure it out, I'll go ask, because there's still the iteration, because I go test it, right? And during the testing is when I get to say, this isn't right. And I can either just go tell it it's wrong, or I can try to figure it out myself, right? At that point. But I'm spending less, I'll go look and try to figure out and finish it off. But I'm spending less time doing that because I can get more done, right? I can get a lot more done.
Yeah, the stupid stuff like, type files, for if I'm doing Ruby or, docs or, that sort of stuff. That's not really,
Like menial
My
kind of
problem,
tasks.
Yeah,
I find letting an AI.
doc
do that.
strings, baby.
And I think,
Yeah.
I think we need to find a way to do like, inline AI autocomplete, because I have enjoyed that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like just generally not the biggest fan of AI for coding.
Well, you don't have,
It's your personal.
there's a lot to learn, right? So
It's
I did
always
this.
So if you learn anything, it's not worth anything. A little bit.
In the regard to tutorials, though, I have opinions about tutorials, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But when it comes to following along a tutorial, I generally caution against that. Find a problem you want to solve, and then go solve it, instead of following a tutorial.
If you want to make a game, go make a game.
Go make it, exactly. Like for example, let's say, I want to program that pulls sports data off the website.
Yeah.
Instead of following a tutorial to do it, take what you know, do what you can, and then go find the answers to questions, right? Instead of following a tutorial. That I was stuck in what programmers like to call tutorial hell for a hot minute, until I'm just like, screw this crap, and just built dumb stuff.
But you have the basic understanding down.
You get the.
That's what
Okay.
we're going
See,
for right now.
I have a hybrid approach. Yeah, I recommend a hybrid, which is do the tutorial.
Mhm.
And when you see something in the tutorial and you're like, every part of the tutorial that's interesting, because some parts are not. Here's how you declare variables. It's like, ooh, I'm going to go declare more. That never happens. But you get into some part of the tutorial, and if it's non-trivial, like you just learned something about loops for the first time, go just do stuff. If you got curiosity, follow it. Just let it take you, and then come back to the tutorial, learn the next thing. Because I think it's important. Like I used to do technical certifications because I had to. It was I was a trainer and an author and a tech writer for Microsoft. So occupational hazard. But what I noticed was that people who took the tests, a lot of people say, oh, it's a waste of time. It won't help me in my job. And they were right. But the people who took the tests, if they were already good at their job, they were better employees because they knew the product in breadth. And so if they're looking at solving a problem, the other folks would say, oh, I know how to solve this problem, with their lesser view of what the product could do. Sometimes the people who had been exposed to the full range of what the product could do would say, yeah, we could do it that way, but there's this thing that might make it easier, right? And so I believe in for a language, or maybe 2 languages, and I'll tell you why 2 in a second, to go through something structured, but also to just go crazy on doing other things.
Yeah, for learning syntax, tutorials are very helpful.
And the reason for 2, the reason I say 2 is that the first time for me, the first time I went through language, I thought I was learning how to program, and that wasn't true. I was learning how, and you can laugh at this, I was learning how to code in Pascal.
Yeah.
Second time I went through language, I was like, oh, this is similar. Well, that's really different, right? I didn't know you could do that. I was learning PL1. It's like, I could put assembler here. I'd learned some assembler, but this isn't an assembly language. They had this thing where you could put inline assembly.
Well, that's actually kind of.
And, you know, and there were all these things that were different. And so I started to see, okay, these things are common to these two languages, right? And so you start to get that pattern. In that case, those were both procedural languages, right? Back in the day. But so you start to see that. So that's kind of, although two languages in tutorials, the second one's probably going to have to be a more advanced tutorial. You get bored out of your.
Like Python and then go to something compiled so you can get the differences.
Yeah.
Go start interpreting and go compiled. For compiled, I mean, I caution against C.
Yeah.
Is that you?
I'm gonna do something I know.
C#.
C#.
You're gonna do it on
I mean, I hate
Core?
it.
Oh, yeah.
I hate
Not
to
the-
be
You
that.
can't do
I hate
framework.
to be that guy.
no, nobody wants it.
No,
Yeah.
you can't even start a new project. I needed to test something like against a
Yeah.
framework, and it's like you can't.
I hate to be that guy, but C# still interpreted. Unless you compile it
Yeah.
still with a common interpreted language.
The CLR.
This,
Yeah.
CIL, yeah. So I hate to be that guy, but.
Honestly, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Doesn't
I get
always
paid
matter.
enough to use it, and
So here's an example of something I coded with AI this week. And so we have this recurring problem at GoDaddy where if we don't support a TLD, like we don't support .cat. .cat is a top level domain. It has a famous website, by the way. Oops. And I think I've shown it here, but not this year. Is that right? What is it? You can look up error codes. Let me see. I'll just, if I can't find it. HTTP, that's why it always looked like a, so they have this, and so you can go to like
that's funny.
http.cat. It's probably like
Is it
slash.
16 that I'm a teapot.
Yeah, so they show,
Not found.
they try to illustrate HTTP. These are HTTP codes.
Error codes.
And
Or
which
16 I'm a teapot. I feel like that'd be funny. Oh, I'm a little off. 418.
Oh,
418.
418.
I was
What's this
thinking
requested range not satisfiable? Yeah, they don't have all of them. 418.
Let's go! Let's go!
So anyway,
They tried to axe this one a while ago, but the purists wanted to keep.
all this to say we don't support .cat. I had to go someplace else to buy a few .cat domains.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I went to pork bun. I thought that's a
Work fun.
pork bun. Popular with consultants. Is it just .com? And they have, for every TLD they offer, I can't remember what the page is. Shoot. They have a picture for every TLD they sell that is based on a pig. And so I can't, there's a slash something, and I remember not being able to find it through the menu, so I had to look it up. But for every TLD, there's a pig like illustrating that little pig icon illustrating that TLD. So this was
That's
productive.
crazy.
Anyway, so I wrote this and I compiled it. It's a Python.
Compiled Python.
Look at the size of it. It's got a Python runtime.
That's
Because
8 megabytes?
It is.
Really?
and so, will it work?
Also, you're not doing
Wake up!
readable sizes, really.
So, I just hit dir, man. So enter a domain name. What happens sometimes is that people will, if we don't support the domain, let me back up. We will support kind of as a loss leader. We'll let you use our DNS system. So I bought some .cat domains, but I used GoDaddy for the DNS. And the way we do that is if somebody has a domain that we don't support DNS for, they call us or whatever and say, hey, I want to use your DNS system, and we vet the request, and then we just add them. We have literally a little drop-down box in one of our internal tools, and we go and we type it in and hit a button, and poof, it makes this stripped down record in our top-level domain table. But the problem is that sometimes people will they'll ask us to do things like, I own com.net and I want to use your site for DNS. Well, com.net isn't a valid, I own something.com.net, and com.net's not a valid TLD. So they'll say, I own, let's do it this way. Suppose I own chris.co.uk. Co.uk is valid. And I say, suppose that, and it would be very unusual that we don't support co.uk. Hello.
Go over. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
So if I run I did this as a convenience for our ops team. If I run this, it'll go and figure out which part's the legitimate prefix or suffix. Okay, because they're not always just one label. Those are called labels in between the dots. It's not always one label, like com or TLD or com or net or org. So this one knows that co.uk is the biggest suffix that's legitimate.
Why does it say pumpkin spice latte?
And it also will then identify what the first registrable part is here. What's the registrable part? So if I had like a.b.c.d.e.co.uk, it's going to say, okay, the TLD part of this is co.uk, and this is the part you could buy or sell, right? And the reason this matters, then, let me go up here, is that if somebody comes to us and they say, I need DNS support for, let's see, we've had this happen. Well, I'll just go with com.net or something because we have people ask for that. I have chris.leonard.com.net, and I say, this is part of com.net, and I need a DNS support for com.net. And they have to go and look in this big file called the public suffix list, and then also look in Wikipedia or on the web. It takes a while to find the NIC is the web page for the governing body for the TLD. And this will say, no, com.net is not something we're going to do DNS for because it's part of net. Net doesn't sponsor a com.net thing, and you can't register chrisleonard.com.net, because you can buy it just doesn't work, right? So they can see this immediately. Whereas if I would have said, I guess we already did this, but if I would have said,
that could be selling some domains.
that's the problem, right? Somebody will buy com.net, and then they'll turn around and sell people things like chris.leonard.com.net or nike.com.net or whatever. They're not a registrar. They'll just have a web page up and they'll be selling subdomains and they'll be acting like a registrar, but they need to have DNS that works for these people. And so they don't want to run that infrastructure. They want us to run it for them. They want a world-class infrastructure for free. And we don't want them to piggyback on us, right? So we don't want to do this, but it gets confusing. I'll show you the,
And it's just loading forever here.
show you the public suffix list. Should have just gone to, I know the URL, I'm not sure why I did this. So this is not authoritative, but the industry uses this. It'd be hard to have anything authoritative, but if you want your supported TLD to be treated like it's supported, you better get it on this list. That's about the gist of it. So public suffix, they use the word suffix instead of TLD because like COUK is on this list. So if you can sell it, it should be here. And whoops, get rid of this guy. I can't.
Do you want to share so
Oh,
friends at home can see it?
friends at home.
You can just stiff arm me out.
Okay, so this is the public suffix list, and for the friends at home, the utility I was showing just does this. You type in a domain name, and it will tell you the legitimate suffix for this name, and then the smallest part of it that can be registered. And then it tells you the URL for the organization that manages the suffix, which I've labeled TLD here because that's just what we call them, even if they're SLD means second level domain. We're not very precise about that when we talk about them. So here is this thing called the public suffix list, and this is what my script does. It gets a copy of this. And so this list, you see how small this scrolling thumb is up here? So I'm not sure how many names are on here, but I'm going to scroll through it a little bit for you. And you can see, for example, that like this is .it, the Italian top level domain. And so you can see if somebody comes to us and says, I want you to support DNS for friuli.x.giulia.it. And how do we know? And in the past, we've had to have people come out here, search through this document, and then go to Wikipedia or someplace and try to see if there's a NIC, a governing organization for it. And so now I just go here and I look for this because the labels are on their own lines, blank lines with the name on it. And then I back up from there and I look for a line that looks like this as a URL after the comment marker. And what I was going to show Axel, he's coming back.
What do you want to set it up?
Hey guys, so this is the top. This is a prefix list, public prefix list, and it's big, right? These are all of the prefixes that are available. And I was on .it just as an example. It's here someplace.
There you are.
Yeah.
Japan has a lot. Italian has a lot.
Yeah. So I was just talking about, if somebody comes to us with some of the .it ones were long, and I had one of them highlighted, and if somebody comes to us with, well, there's one, right?
I wonder what that translates to.
If, Trenton in the southern part of Tyrol is the southern, it's like near Bavaria, I think. You're welcome. And this is weird. That's like the German spelling of south, but so I would expect this to be in Austria, not in Italy. Why did you ask? But suppose here's the same thing kind of with not as many hyphens, but if somebody came to us and said, I want you to manage my DNS for Trenton.Südtirol with an E in between the D and the T, that wouldn't be, we wouldn't want them to do that. So in the past, they'd have to come out here to the public suffix list, look for it. And if it was on here, they'd have to, make sure there was a NIC for it. So they'd come up
Well, they
here.
do have it with
look
the
at it.
E below that, but yes.
Yeah. Oh, but the E is before it. So yeah, see how confusing it is. And so I wrote this app and it uses this list, and we can we can get a local copy in case we're onboarding TLDs that aren't here yet. And so I back up from there and try to get this, make sure there's a NIC or display the NIC so they can see what it is in case they have questions. And this is something I wrote with AI, going back and forth with AI. And where is it? It's not there. Gosh, let's just, yeah, I'll get it open here.
Morning, done.
Build. That's it. Not I. I'll make this larger. Yeah, I'll get rid of the bottom things. And so this is, you might have seen it was a 10,000 line script, but it's really well documented. So if I import it, I've got really good help, right? And I didn't do lines of code on it to see how much of it was code, but you know, I'm guessing it's probably somewhere around half. And and so yeah, and so this is and I had it do the arg parsing first for me because I was like, I don't remember how to do this.
Arg parser is an amazing library. It should be standard across every program.
Yeah, and you know, that's a great example. I don't remember how to do arg parser. I always have to look it up. And all I did was say, add these 3 arguments, right? And I was done. So that's a problem I don't want to have to solve, right? Yeah, and
Python documentation is the best.
and I'm really good with regex, but this was a positive look back. So there's look-arounds.
Positive look behind.
Look behind, thank you. And so I've got a tool for that. And as soon as I would have got this part's the look behind. As soon as I would have got that, I could have done this. And I actually had to, oh, not this one. There was a regex that it gave me in another program that I had to debug and make a little change to it. And then I gave it back to the AI and said, no, I fixed this. There's another problem now. And it, you know, I said, this is wrong, but I'd done the testing on it. And part of the reason I want to give it back is that sometimes it gives me back code. And I'm like, oh, that's a good way to do this. You know, it's like, I've already got it solved. I have a way to do it, but it'll come back with something that's like, that's way more Pythonic than what I would have thought of. Right. Yeah, this came out. If I would have done this, there'd be no help.
Yeah.
Right. Some of this stuff would have been done in clunky ways.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do, right? And I told it what I wanted to do. I specified it pretty well, I think. And when I didn't specify it well, it was like, hang on. What I just told you, I need to amend what I just asked you to do, because I wasn't clear about that. And sometimes if I'm not clear about explaining it, it means I wasn't clear about thinking it through. That happens sometimes where what I would have written wouldn't have been right. And then if he comes back to it, I don't feel so stupid if he brings me the wrong version, because then it's just like, oh, I said the wrong thing. And then I don't get as upset. So it's a real shift mentally. And I do miss the quick iteration loop and the burn, you know, I miss that zone, but it's still an iterative zone, right? But it's more like you've got a junior programmer who's very fast.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to be effective in your career, you've got to get to where you can tell other programmers what to do. At some point, you know, maybe just once in a while, but at some point, if you've been around a while, you're going to have people that you're going to say, hey, we need this, you know, or hey, this is how you do that.
Do it all yourself.
Yeah, or even just, hey, this is how you do that.
Oh, maybe this is how you can do it all yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, for no other reason
Anyway.
than just to look at it from a security perspective, you're spending less time programming the code and more time auditing it. You're getting the same amount of programmer hours, but more auditing hours.
Yeah.
So then you have
Making it a better product at the end.
hardening it, so then you don't because when you're already in the zone of constantly auditing the code, you're like, wait, hold up a second here, that's an out of bounds read.
Mm-hmm.
And then you catch that before it's even put in the file.
You probably don't want me to tell you that I let it do code reviews in addition to mine. It caught something.
Oh, no.
One AI session told me to make a a GitHub workflow a certain way. And then I was struggling with getting it to work. It was running and something wasn't working right. And this is not my forte here. And so I took it back. And, oh no, we had an automated review that was saying, hey, you've got code, you've got an injection problem, something that just happens when we commit in GitHub. And I couldn't see it. And so I went back, and the same AI that had given me the code said, oh no, they're right, here it is, you know. So
Yeah.
it has no ego. It's just like, yeah, I see it.
That's the problem, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, oops, you're right.
Yeah.
And then you don't trust it.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're-
that's where just constantly auditing comes in. Like,
Yeah.
you'd have the same problem with a junior programmer.
Yeah.
That's true.
But this is like, my team doesn't know how to do GitHub workflows. So ideally, the lesson here is that I should have somebody on a different team look at it when I'm writing GitHub workflows, because I'm the only person on the team that does it,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with, once I get to the blocks where I get to write bash or something like that, cool. But this was those little macros with the double braces, and there was a command inside one of them, not just a variable reference. And so there had to be some quoting going on with that.
Because you had an injection vulnerability there.
Yeah, because what was happening is I was just picking a value off a list. So technically, no, it wasn't going to be an injection problem unless I had a branch name that contained a bash command,
Which I mean,
which somebody could.
Vector.
Yeah,
It's
it
all-
is. So it was fair. Anyway,
That's
there's a digression for you. But
mail with a programming digression. There you go.
yeah, but and if you look at this still isn't done.
I mean, it's DNS, so it is related to
Oh.
mails. Back.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy,
It's very
but
tangential to the primary scope.
yeah.
Yeah.
Objection. Yeah.
So, but
Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy.
so this is the outline. I mean, I would have had one big script, right?
Yeah.
But because I had this junior programmer with me, I'd just highlight it and say, could you turn that into a commandlet for me, or whatever? These aren't commandlets by name.
Functions.
Oh, this is Python.
Yeah.
No,
It's
yeah.
Python. They say it no.
And I found out that there was a library for the public suffix list, not surprisingly in hindsight. Yeah. Anyway,
I learned something new.
this is an example of something that it turned out better. Don't know if it saved me time, because I had a lot of things to discover, but
You learned something new.
I learned. Yeah. What else? What are our plans for the rest of the day?
Have a piano recital, like 2.5 hours.
You playing?
The party's going on.
I'm actually playing, and the party today, I think so. I'm not going, but I'm pretty sure it's going. I haven't gotten any indication that's not happening.
Takes priority.
The thing that was scheduled a couple of months ago takes priority. The thing that just got scheduled, what? How many weeks are we even at now? Like 2 or 3.
How about the Hansons? We didn't get you in the conversation much. Sorry about that.
No,
Any
you're
plan?
good. No, this is a good session today, by the way. I really enjoyed walking through this. I think it was good for the whole group too, so.
Guys, are you following along with the dig commands?
Yeah, I did.
Chad, do you attest?
He's in the other room, but I did have to go out there. I had to run
What
away.
the heck?
I had to
Yeah.
step away to go to the bathroom, but I think he was.
Okay.
Wow, Isaac.
I'll take your
Wow.
word for it.
Wow.
Hey, Isaac, it's okay, Isaac. It's not because I don't trust you. It's because I don't trust you. Okay.
That's the
Wow.
go-to today, huh? How about Koa? If that's Koi.
Koa
You really
said
think he did it?
Koa said he's got this all down now. What
All
he told
right.
me.
All right. I'm gonna have you set up the authoritative DNS server then.
He's probably written a new one that he should do a pull request to Arch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a few enhancement feature requests on it, so.
You guys have any questions?
Nope.
I personally don't, but Kaisik or Koa, how about you guys?
No.
No.
Okay.
All right, then. Anything for you guys? Trivia? Good dad jokes?
So somebody said, do you have any questions? I'm like, what is your favorite color? What is your name? What is your quest? What is the airspeed velocity of two swallows?
Well, you have to use a relativity adjustment for that. Axel, you got anything besides the comment I ignored earlier because I didn't understand it?
So your script said PSL, short for pumpkin spice latte.
Oh,
That's what.
I know this.
So, yeah, why is your script, so your script is very white, very much a white girl, if you know what I mean. Like,
I have no idea what you
The
mean.
only thing it's missing is a Starbucks.
Does she have to wear a certain kind of sweater or anything? A cardigan? No. I don't think.
Dog, I don't know, man. I just know like there's like 4 different types of clothing. That's all I know about it. Apparently there's like 20. And I only know about 4.
You know, what the Hansons missed today is that I didn't wear a print t-shirt. Did nobody notice?
No, I
I
didn't.
think it's the first in my entire 75-year teaching history with this club that I did not wear a print t-shirt.
How come? Somebody get that for you or?
It was just, I was just overcome by the thought this morning. It's like, oh wow, I have other clothes.
That's
Isn't
hilarious.
that the strangest realization to have? You're just rifling through the closet like, wait, there's more?
Well, they're all
these.
the print tees and anything with a print on it is on the lower rack. And then the other stuff's up here. And today I looked up. Usually it's just for like if I'm going to church or Margie and I are going to get a meal or something, then I go for the upper rack. If I'm coming to see you guys,
Not gonna waste
or
your
if I'm going to work, then it's a t-shirt.
That's crazy.
So when you present, you know, in front of big wigs or whatever, are you wearing
T-shirt.
t-shirt? Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sometimes they are, well, not a t-shirt, but we're a casual company.
We are, but ever since more recent changes
Hmm.
and acquisition and blah, blah, you know, big corporation, it's gotten back to
Uh,
more professional, I should say, but
oh,
yeah, honestly, the people who got let go weren't very professional.
oh,
Yeah, and I
Interesting.
don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
yeah, there are layoffs at Integrated DNA Tech, Chad. That's
Oh,
what-
really?
I'm
Yep.
still here, there.
Everywhere, as the
Fortunately.
Beatles would say.
Yeah, you'll have to do an actuarial study of how many people that wore t-shirts to work were the ones that were laid off, right?
Oh, if you get me data, I can do the stats next week. I'd enjoy that.
That could be your side quest while me and Ox will struggle to
Yeah.
begin to realize that authoritative DNS servers break.
Yeah, I think we could just do a Nova with it. You get me the total number of employees and
Yeah.
the number that got laid off and the number that had t-shirts, and I think we can do this.
It's funny, I work from home like 100% of the time. There's no office for the company I work for. The home office is in Delaware. But I don't know, I just always have made it a point, like I wake up in the morning and I feel like I have to be like dressed for the office, you know? It's just
Really?
like it's like a mental thing for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, you,
Well, I always go by the maxim to dress for the job you want, and so I
Yeah.
wear t-shirts.
Yeah. No, it's no judge. I'm just saying personally,
No.
it's like that's just like I think if I wore like t-shirts and sweats or something, I wouldn't mentally be like in the space I need to be to perform, you know? It's just a weird thing for me, you know?
When they interviewed me, the hiring manager told me before I came in, he said, you know, don't worry about what you wear. He said, we're casual here, and I mean jeans and sweatshirts casual. And I
Right.
didn't know if I could believe that.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then I got to the interview and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's just dressed like I dress on the weekend. And then we got to the conference room and he was so apologetic. He's like, oh, I told people to clean this up because we had an interview. And what there was it was Wednesday and they always had lunch brought in on Wednesday. And so it was Happy Joe's pizza boxes
Wow.
and crumbs from a taco pizza on the conference room. Like, Jody, this isn't a problem. This is good. It's like, and he was just like, oh man, I'm so sorry. It's like, this isn't bad.
So what did you wear to the interview?
I know I at least wore a tie. I might have taken his advice and left the coat at home. Yeah. But I felt like I actually had overdressed, that I should have, but you can't.
No, you can't take that risk.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, leaving the coat, I was feeling a little iffy, but he had made such a big deal about it,
yeah.
But yeah, I was
What if
surprised.
some other guy wants to join, right? Who's
Yeah.
the CIO or something, right? It's just,
Yeah, I knew a guy from church who had, given me the job description. He had done it a little bit before because they had two DBAs leave at the same time, almost. And I looked at the job description and when he handed it to me the second time, and I was like, Jeremy, this is exactly what I'm good at. And he said, yeah, it is, isn't it? The soft sell. But
now, does the job description match the job or did it?
it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, because
It
it's
was-
always the case.
It was all SQL Server development. It was,
Yeah.
that's like, you don't see many jobs that are just straight up like that. I worked two other places that were, not just one that was all development, not the DBA stuff with the backups and everything thrown in.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of unusual. It's what I do now.
Yeah.
Although our team and the SQL engineering team that does the backups and the builds and stuff, we have this shared model. I think it's just our team. The other development teams, maybe not so much. We have this shared model. Our Venn diagrams overlap a little bit. And so sometimes we'll tell them, hey, we want to do X. Is that something you want to deploy or do you want us to deploy it? But most of the time we know who does what. But they give us sysadmin. They let us be SA on our servers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great. Power.
Yeah.
I just, speaking of like all the Copilot stuff, Management Studio 22 has that built in. We just
Yeah.
put that on our machines. And then I'm thinking,
I've heard it's
how,
nice.
how deep does this go into the database? Like what kind of limitations does it have? Is it going to run queries without no locks or, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little wary.
Yeah. In Management Studio, I set my
This guy.
I set my session settings in tools options
Okay.
under the SQL queries bit. Probably, I'm sure of that SSMS here.
I'd be interested because we just opened it up on Friday.
This is
So
21. You've got 22 now.
Has the Copilot thing
Yeah.
on the.
I haven't installed that anywhere yet.
You can, there's a button and you have to like a URL to put in there and we didn't have that.
Oh, that's a
But I'm sure
fancy new connect
what you're
box.
gonna show is similar to,
Yeah, and I don't think I can make this bigger. Sorry.
it's all right.
But so under
I don't think you're sharing what you're doing right now, Chris.
really? Oh, I thought that was this one. So we're looking at a SQL Server tool called SQL Server Management Studio, referred to usually as Management Studio or SSMS. And we were just talking about some of the settings, and I set settings in this tool, so I don't have to remember stuff. Because like if you use the command line tool, SQL command, it doesn't set any of this. So in SSMS, it's nice. So under query execution on this advanced tab, there's 7, this is just DBA talk or dev talk. There's 7 magic settings that we use in our stored procedures that enable things, advanced things like materialized views and indexed virtual columns and things that take what look like they're virtual objects and allow us to build indexes on them so they're persisted and they speed up queries.
Yeah.
So there are these 7 settings we need to have turned on or off specifically. And so I set these on here, but I also set my isolation level to read uncommitted so I don't block people when I'm in here. I think that's most what I do. Okay, okay, I think we're good now. But yeah, you can, these become you can override these in your query window, but then this becomes your default. And for me, this is safe. Like we use no lock reads a lot in production just because of the load. And you have to design, if there's a lot of load, you have to design to use, proper locking, the locking, I think the default is repeatable read. Is it read? I think it's read committed. But you have to make sure everything's written for that, and it wasn't originally, and so we can't fix it now.
Yeah.
The nice thing, the best way to have it would be to have snapshot serialization on, so you could use read snapshot, and then it always gives you the data the way it existed at the time you began your query. But I think it's a death march to take an existing database and turn on that feature. So yeah, so but yeah, you can set whatever you want here. So, and these are some of the other 7 magic settings we need. Anyway, that's what I got here. Yeah, I've heard 22 has AI features. I don't know if they'll block it for us because we like in Visual Studio. Oh, this was, I was thinking last night. I'm not sure I gave Dan a very good answer when he asked about globs last week. Because the globs, it's only when they're expanding that they know that they're files. Once they're expanded, they're just strings. And I wasn't sure I made that clear to him.
So
But
there's a slight issue.
anyway,
that
that's okay.
A lot of times Google audio output,
And
is incredibly expensive because that's cloning a ridiculous
And
amount
here
of
they have-
multiple hardware addresses.
about MCP servers with AI. So
Because on Linux,
this option is
but you
set
need
to
dedicated
none at work,
audio
and it's set by policy,
to then
so we
target
can't change it.
like
But in Cursor, it's fine. And I'm like,
somewhat familiar with pipelines.
Cursor's a derivative of VS Code. Come on, let us be able to choose. But anyway, guys, probably shut off the meeting now unless you have anything else.
Stereo,
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think so. This is what makes our recording so much fun, is the structured way in which we end the meetings. So
The way that it works.
I'll talk to you later. See you next
All
week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
What it does
Bye.
is only one program
Oh,
can
that's-
sync hardware at the hardware lock with the audio driver. Only one device can really do that reliably, right? Linux's solution is to have an audio server that mixes all the audio coming in and creates a single stream going to the audio card.
The facilitator was
Would it be
on
easier to use
The-
Bluetooth and my.
up there. Hi, everybody. Here's how I can help with this meeting. Track the agenda, take notes, set a timer. And then it's like, we're about halfway through and the group is actively working through bash scripting concepts. But is that last week?
Must be.
I'm more of I'm the guy who just builds virtual machines. That's my thing.
Oh, split email sessions,
But I think it's possible,
December.
See you.
unless it's hard.
See
See
you.
you, Koa.
It's easier to
Bye.
pipe multiple inputs
Bye.
and pipe them to a single output than to take like one output and
I didn't do
multiply
much
them
this time.
outputs. That's a pain in the